Morning. Good morning. Welcome to worship with the community of Westside Unitarian Universalist Church, where compassion leads us to work for justice and equality. My name is Carol Kappa, and I'll be your worship leader this morning. I'm glad you're joining us for the service today, and it's my hope that this gathering will renew your sense of community and connection and nourish your heart, mind, and spirit. A special thanks to all of our service providers today, especially our AV team volunteers, host Janelle Weaver, who you just heard from, and the co-hosts Donald Kennard and Ken Lysing. And also a big thank you to all the other Westside volunteers who will make this service possible today. Our chalice lighters, Lauren and Lizzie Lysing. The pastoral care representative is Melissa Trask. Meditation leader, Diane Austin. Social Justice Chair, Cindy Fountain, and as well as our important staff, our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Nikki Kennedy, the pianist, Dr. Yuki Kumamoto, and our Office Administrator, Don McGee. Now at Westside, we are raising the next generation of Unitarian Universalists, and we want them to know that they are an important part of our community. Several years ago, we chose to be radically inclusive and to adopt a multi-generational worship, where our services include all family members. So welcome to all children and youth of all ages. Westside is a community of many beliefs, genders, and sexualities, a community of diverse cultural, racial, and class backgrounds, and a community of varied abilities and gifts. Some here find inspiration in the great books, others in the great outdoors, and others still in great conversations. So whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into this community. If you are so moved, you can try out the chat feature on Zoom by typing in some words of welcome to both members and visitors who are joining us this morning. And on behalf of this church community, I say to all, welcome. Our guest in the virtual pulpit this morning is Katie Covey. She has been a religious educator since 1984 and is the author of a book called Full Circle, Growing Lifelong UUs, published by the UUA. She has served as an instructor in UU religious education at 2 seminaries and is a Tapestry of Faith curricula author. Katie currently serves as the Director of Religious Education for Soul Matters Sharing Circle. Katie is a lifelong UU. She lives in Longmont, Colorado. She's married with 4 adult children and 7 grandchildren and loves to cycle with her partner on the many rail trails in her area. So now I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And from wherever you are, settle into this sacred space that we create and let us worship together as we listen to this morning's prelude performed by our pianist, Dr. Yuki Kumamoto.
Hello, everyone. One night during the annual meeting of UUs, which is called General Assembly, I asked my companions around that circular dinner table how many had grown up Unitarian Universalist. It made me think hard when, of 10 people at the dinner, 8 responded that they had grown up UU. Why were there so many that night? So I looked for the why. I interviewed 82 men and women ranging in age from 25 to 92. Some are national leaders, such as former UUA President William Schultz. Some are members of families that have been UU for generations. All are worth listening to. I wrote the stories up in a book called Full Circle. And today I'm going to share stories from Full Circle. I've also asked one of your own youth to share their story. And because I'm a religious educator, I invite you to do a little hands-on project while we move through this time together. I call it the Full Circle Chalice Snowflake. The link to the directions is in the chat. And I want you to be prepared because I tell you, I admit that when I opened up something that looks like this, I came out first with a headless chalice. But eventually, with a little persistence and practice, you too can make a chalice full circle. Thank you very much.
Our opening hymn this morning is Spirit of Life, written by Carolyn McDade and performed by the All Souls Virtual Choir of Washington, D.C. This morning's chalice will be lit by Lauren Lysing and her daughter Lizzie. The flaming chalice is our Unitarian Universalist symbol of both the heritage of our past and the light of hope within this congregation today. If you have a chalice at home, please light it with us.
Today's reading is called We Carry the Flame by Douglas Taylor. Across the generations, we have carried the flame. We fought the injustice, sang the songs, spoke for truth, and built something lasting. We join in the line and we carry the flame forward.
Across the generations, we are tending the flame. Hand in hand together, we share in the work of fighting injustice, singing the songs, speaking the truth. And we are here to build something lasting. We join in the line and we carry the flame forward.
Across the generations, we have been nourished by this flame. We are singing new songs, breaking old barriers, sharing in the work. And as we find our own space in what has been, we are here to make space for the next person as well. We join in the line and we carry the flame forward. Across the generations, this flame comes to us. We are here for the songs, for the justice, for the community sharing the work. We are here now too, to build something new and lasting. We are ready for a new day together. We join in the line and we carry the flame forward.
The chalice lighting song today is Be the Light by Leah Morris.
There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always a light in the dark when we are ready to see it. There is always a light in the dark when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always a light. There is always a light. When we are ready to see it. There is always a light. There is always a light. When we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always a light. There is always a light. When we are ready to see it.
Please join me in reciting our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Our time for all ages today will be introduced by our guest speaker, Katie Covey. The story is called Abuela by Arthur Doros.
In the hymn of the Spirit of Life, we sing Wing Set Us Free. So here's a story about a multi-generational duo who do actually take wing.
Abuela takes me on the bus. We go all around the city. Abuela is my grandma. She is my mother's mother. Abuela means grandma in Spanish. Abuela speaks mostly Spanish because that's what people spoke where she grew up before she came to this country. Abuela and I are always going places. Today, we are going to the park. El parque es lindo, says Abuela. I know what she means. I think the park is beautiful too. Tantos pájaros, Abuela says, as a flock of birds surround us. So many birds. They're picking up the bread we brought. What if they picked me up and carried me high above the park? What if I could fly? Abuela would wonder where I was. Swooping like a bird, I'd call to her. Then she'd see me flying. Rosalba the bird. Rosalba el pájaro, she'd say. Ven, abuela. Come, abuela, I'd say. Sí quiero volar, Abuela would reply, as she leaped into the sky with her skirt flapping in the wind. We would fly all over the city. Mira, Abuela would say, pointing. And I'd look as we soared over parks and streets, dogs and people. We'd wave to the people waiting for the bus. Buenos dias, we'd say. Buenos dias, good morning, they'd call up to us. We'd fly over factories and trains and glide close to the sea. Cerca del mar, we'd say. We'd almost touch the top of waves. Abuela's skirt would be a sail. She could race with the sailboats. I'll bet she'd win. We'd fly to where the ships are docked and watch people unload fruits from the land where Abuela grew up. Mangoes, bananas, papayas. Those are all Spanish words. So are rodeo, patio, and burro. Maybe we'd see a cousin of Abuela's hooking boxes of fruit to a crane. We saw her cousin Daniel once unloading and loading the ships. Out past the boats in the harbor, we'd see the Statue of Liberty. Me gusta, Abuela would say. Abuela really likes her. I do too. We would circle around Liberty's head and wave to the people visiting her. That would remind Abuela of when she first came to this country. Vamos al aeropuerto, she'd say. She'd take me to the airport where the plane that first brought her landed. Cuidado, Abuela would tell me. We'd have to be careful as we went for a short ride. Then we could fly to Tio Pablo and Tia Elisa's store. Pablo is my uncle, my tío, and Elisa is my aunt, my tía. They'd be surprised when we flew in, but they'd offer us a cool limonada. Flying is hot work. Pero quiero volar más, Abuela would say. She wants to fly more. I want to fly more too. We could fly to las nubes, the clouds. One looked like a cat, un gato. One looks like a bear, un oso. One looks like a chair, una silla. Descansemos un momento, Abuela would say. She wants to rest a moment. We would rest in our chair, and Abuela would hold me in her arms, with the whole sky our house, nuestra casa. We'd be as high as airplanes, balloons, and birds, and higher than the tall buildings downtown. But we'd fly there too, to look around. We could find the building where my father works. Hola, Papa, I'd say as I waved, and Abuela would do a flip for fun as we passed by the windows. Mira, I hear Abuela say. Look, she's telling me. I do look, and we are back in the park. We are walking by the lake. Abuela probably wants to go for a boat ride. Vamos a otra aventura, she says. She wants us to go for another adventure. That's just one of the things I love about Abuela. She likes adventures. Abuela takes my hand. Vamos, she says. Let's go. The end.
May you too enjoy magical times with beloveds of all ages.
Thank you, Katie. Our joys and concerns will be shared by Melissa Trask today, a representative of the Pastoral Care Team.
Good morning. We are grateful you are here with us for this service. It is that time in our service when we share joys and concerns. While we are here to meet online, anyone can submit a joy or concern by emailing the Pastoral Care Team at pastoralcare@westsideu.org or through the web form located at the program tab on the church's website, and then click on Care and Support. As we share our joys with others, those joys are multiplied. When other hearts know our joy shines all the brighter. As we share our concerns, our community can offer its care. When other hearts know our sorrow, our burden becomes lighter. This is the time in our service when we offer witness and support for one another's journey. This week's joys and concerns received by 10 a.m. this morning include, so we do have a joy from Christina Sellers, and it says that Maddie is scheduled to get her first COVID vaccine today after church. And we do thank you for sharing those with us. It is good to share with one another as sharing draws our community closer. Please know that our pastoral care associates are available to support you with deep listening and, when needed, through our InReach Fund for short-term financial support of members in need. We are here for you.
Thank you, Melissa. This morning's centering song is May I Be Happy. It's part of Mindful Music with Betsy Rose. And then Diane Austin will then lead our meditation of shared compassion.
Happy, peaceful, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be filled with love.
I invite you to join me in a time of centering. Each week here at Westside, we open our hearts to those in our community who know both joys and challenges, and to all suffering beings. I will begin with a pastoral introduction before we move into a time for silent reflection. A bell will sound to signal the start of the time for your own meditation, prayer, or reflection, and it will sound again at the end. Today is a meditation on interdependence. So if you are an adult, I want you to imagine yourself as a child, perhaps remembering a favorite photo of yourself. If you are a child, I want you to experience yourself as you are now. Feel your childhood body, your arms and legs, trunk and head, how you moved, how you rested. Feel your childhood feelings, your emotions, your anger, your fear, your happiness, sadness, love, excitement, joy, impulses. Your perceptions, seeing, hearing, taste, smell, touch, sense of your body, your mind, childhood thoughts about the future or the past, ideas about the world around you. Your consciousness, what was your awareness of yourself? Did you see yourself as a part of a family, a community? Stay with your childhood experiences without getting too caught up in story or interpretation. Now bring your awareness to your adult self, whether that is in the present or whether it is the adult you might become when you grow up in the future. Feel your adult body, your arms, legs, trunk and head, how you move, how you rest. Notice your feelings, your emotions, your impulses, your joys, your sorrows. Feel your perceptions, seeing, hearing, taste, smell, touch, sense of your body. Feel your mind as an adult, your thoughts about the present, past, and future, your ideas about the world around you. Notice your consciousness. What is your awareness of yourself as an individual, as a part of a family, a community? Ask yourself, who am I? Thich Nhat Hanh says, the questions should be deeply rooted in you, like a new seed nestled deep in the soft earth and damp with water. The question, who am I, should not be confined to your intellect, but to all of you, your body, feelings, perceptions, mind, and consciousness. In our minute of silence, you can stay with this question, or return to your breathing, or use this time for your own reflection, prayer, or meditation. May it be so, blessed be, and amen.
Thank you, Diane. I so appreciate these meditations that you bring to us each Sunday. And now, before we hear from Cindy Fountain about our November plate offering recipient, we have a special presentation for us by Daniel Polk, the Executive Director of North Texas UU Congregations.
Hello there, I'm Daniel from NTUC with Carol, who is our Vice President, and Linda from the Endowment Committee, and I'm here with money. $6,000 to help fund a pastoral care professional for Westside UU Church. I think you could use this.
Thank you. On behalf of the board and the congregation, we are very excited to start in the search for a professional to help with pastoral care. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Diane, for the meditation, and thank you so much to Daniel and NTUC for the grant. And I'm here at the church today, so I just really want to welcome our visitors that are here with us today. We have 2 sets of visitors, and we are so glad to have you here. Westside's plate offering for November is the AFIA Center. The AFIA Center is the only reproductive justice organization in North Texas founded and directed by Black women. It was established in response to the increasing disparities between HIV incidences worldwide and the extraordinary prevalence of HIV among Black women and girls in Texas. It also recognizes that this intersects with reproductive justice. On its website, the AFIA Center explains that we are transforming the lives, health, and overall well-being of Black women and girls by providing refuge, education, and resources. We act to ignite the communal voices of Black women, resulting in our full achievement of reproductive freedom. AFIA Center does this through such programs as LOL, Living Out Loud with a Purpose, a trauma-informed, peer-driven project targeting Black cisgender and transgender women living with HIV, and SMART, Sisters Mobilizing for Abortion Access and Reproductive Rights in Texas. SMART implements strategies geared toward creating a strong community-based response specifically designed to combat the stigmatization and fear tactics currently targeting Black women who seek abortion care. Support Your Sister, assist people seeking abortion care with transportation and childcare costs, as well as procedural costs occasionally. You may be familiar with Ms. Marcia Jones, who is a co-founder and the executive director of the AFIA Center. So I apologize real quick, people. I got to move something so that I can scroll down. I can't see. Here we go. Sorry, people. You may be familiar with Ms. Marcia Jones. Ms. Jones travels to Austin regularly, speaking tirelessly for maternal health care, access to abortion, and all forms of health care, which our state makes unjustly out of reach for so many. As Martha Jones says, the denial of health care in any form is a violation of human rights. Westside has affirmed that Black Lives Matter. Let's give as we can to an organization that is fully centering Black lives. You can give online now through the church's giving page or by using the Vanco mobile app and select the Sunday Plate Offering Fund. The link will be put in the chat. You can mail a check to the church and the basket will be passed in the sanctuary. Thank you so much for your offering.
Okay, now we're going to enjoy a musical offering from Diane Austin while we put the link in the chat.
Thank you, Diane, for your offertory. And thank you, Westsiders watching and those in person at the church for your generosity today. And now, please turn your attention to our guest speaker, Katie Covey, as she shares with us her reflection called Full Circle, 15 Ways to Grow Lifelong UUs.
So, hello everyone. Here's this little robin egg blue book that was published a number of years ago by the UUA, and I'm so grateful they did that. The most important results of my interviews fell into 15 common threads, amazingly. These were the threads which explained why the interviewees stayed Unitarian Universalist. The biggest thread, by far, statistically out of the charts, had to do with two events for teens: participation in a youth group, and or being mentored as a teen by someone in leadership. I always tell congregations, don't despair if you don't have a formal YRUU group. Many of us don't, because the second thread of being mentored was just as important. This means that someone in leadership notices you, compliments your reading, your insight, your music, your own leadership. Just as I want to compliment Lizzie and Lauren for doing such a wonderful job with your chalice lighting. This mentoring helps that youth learn how to be present in front of a group, to reflect and share, taking forward and back roles in a small group, and to be patient and listen. That's why inviting youth to be worship associates, AV co-hosts, peer pastoral care associates, women's and men's group participants, and full-on Sunday school teachers is necessary to build a commitment for a lifelong faith. One example I loved finding out about is Reverend Dr. Liz Strong, who was invited by her Universalist congregation at age 12 to teach full-on Sunday school. She grew up to become the first PhD ordained minister of religious education. That's what I call a lifelong commitment and a gift to our denomination. I asked Nikki to interview one of your own Westside youth, and I understand there's a recording of this interview.
Hi, my name's Chloe Kennard. My pronouns are they, them, and here are some of the reasons I love Westside. Some of the things in the congregation that I hold dear to my heart is definitely the relationships I've made with the young and the old, the friends I've made along my journey, and being able to grow up in a safe and loving environment. It's definitely taught me how to be kind and creative and how to care for people. Another thing that I am hopeful for is to go to summer camp with other UUs. I'm really excited for that. I really want to meet in person again so we can keep building community, and I'm just excited to build community again. Another one of my hopes is for CRE to start up again in person. I'm really excited to talk with my fellow peers about important things that affect our lives. And another thing that I am excited for is to do more marches, like the Black Lives Matter March, Pride Parade, Earth March, and the Women's March. I think everybody should be accepted as who they are, and also we need to keep our earth clean to make sure people can be accepted as who they are. Things that I want others to know about Westside is that it's a safe and loving place where you can be yourself, and it's full of different beliefs, so it's a great learning environment, and it's full of really cool people.
I love that. Thank you. And what a wonderful setting on the rainbow hammock. Just as we've heard from a youth there at Westside, youth are worth knowing, worth seeing, and worth incorporating into the life of the congregation. Here's a motto. With apologies to the motto maker of beef, it's what's for dinner. Youth, they're not just for Youth Sunday. I thought that I would share a few stories from Full Circle. One of my favorite stories about youth group memories is from 92-year-old Reverend Albert C. Niles. He was in youth group in the 1920s in the Denver area. The most important event of the weekend occurred at Miss Dobble's little bungalow on Saturday nights. As the church gang gathered, the rugs were rolled up and stored out of the way. The player piano was pressed into action. Powdered wax might be scattered on the wood floors, and dancing would commence. If the tune being played had some good words, we sang. The circulation of the dancing traffic went from the front room toward the kitchen, the bedroom, a narrow hallway, then toward the bathroom and storage closets. This led into a bedroom off the front room. The dancing always went counterclockwise. Eventually, the light hanging from the ceiling in the hallway would get turned off, and then we really got the evening dancing away. I don't know if we spread wax on wood floors anymore, but it's a wonderful story. So there were lots of other threads I discovered, and I don't have time to share many of them. But here's another one, the importance of multi-generational habits and traditions for holidays. Here's a memory about Easter from former President William Schultz. Goodness, thank you. 20. I grew up in the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh, and two images in particular of my early childhood in that church remain. One is of its mustiness, a kind of welcoming mustiness, which was never offensive, but which has spoken to me ever since whenever I encountered it, of sweet warmth and history. And the second memory is of Irving Murray's bald spot, surrounded protectively by curly hair. Irving Murray was the minister of the church. He was distributing daffodils to the children one Easter, and I waited expectantly to hear my name. I was perhaps about 6. And when by some oversight it never came, I'm sure my eyes welled up with tears. But then, Hosanna! 3 pitiful little daffodils remained at the end, and Irving, ever quick, asked that any child who had not yet received a gift come forward to make the claim. Suddenly the skies cleared as I ran to the altar, and Irving bent to pick up the flower, and in his bending revealed a bald spot set sheepishly amid curly hair. Do you understand how much self-control it took for me not to rub it? For at that moment I had learned that the church was a place that never forgets you, and Irving's bald spot somehow was a reflection of its care and memory. I come to this service each year to retrieve for just a moment mustiness, daffodils, and bald spots. Another thread which I'd like to share is about justice making. This story is from James McCullough's family experience. My family and I became involved in the Unitarian Church in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, during a very difficult period of time for us, occasioned by a very unpopular lawsuit being prosecuted by my mother, which challenged a program of sectarian religious instruction in the public schools. The case was ultimately decided in our favor by the U.S. Supreme Court in a landmark decision written by Justice Hugo Black. However, the importance of the case and the principle upon which it was grounded escaped the ken of the local gentry. My family and I were outcasts in the community, virtual pariahs, if you will. The Unitarian Church and its minister, the Reverend Phil Shug, offered a port in the storm, the only place where we found acceptance in what was then a Bible-thumping community. Theologically, we were humanists and fit right in with the congregation. I was, consequently, raised in that Sunday school. I'd like to ask Nikki to share some sad information of something that happened in your church this week to a youth and young adult.
Good morning, Westside. Someone who definitely understood the importance of our youth was Jared Kennison. Jared Kennison died in a car accident on Tuesday. Jared grew up in a community of UUs that had adults who mentored him in amazing ways. They loved and they listened, they encouraged and they equipped. They were even just there, wherever there was. Because of how important and life-changing that was for him, Jared poured into the CRE opportunities here at Westside. Jared taught in the preschool class. This 6-foot-plus loving soul greeted and cared for each one of them. Jared also did this with our youth at Westside. Jared's bright light was incredible, offering friendship and support, and certainly love to all. Jared loved and lived in the best of ways, making all feel welcomed. And as Jared's mom, Kim, has reminded us, live like Jared and be cool, my dudes. Encouraging and equipping youth is one of incredible ways that we can be cool and we can make a difference in our world.
Thank you, Nikki. May that circle that is now complete rest in peace and for their family. Our faith believes that the problems in the world is different from other major religions. The problem in the world is not sin, as our Christian cousins see it, or suffering, as the Buddhists see it, or the endless reincarnation or samsara of the Hindus. For us Unitarian Universalists, the problem that we see in the world is disconnection and separateness. We gather as UUs to solve the problem of disconnection with connection to our inner life, to our community, and to life's gifts and joys. That's why we incorporate the common pattern of a circle. That's why we gather in circles for RE, for worship, for small groups, and for meetings. There are circles in our memorial services, our child dedications, and our weddings. We need to celebrate those who travel these circles of connection throughout their whole lives, seeing clearly our weaknesses and our challenges and our disconnections, yet coming back again and again to heal our disconnection with deep, mature love and compassionate caring.
Thank you, Katie. Our closing hymn this morning is called Love Train by Playing for Change.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn around arts, people all over the world, brothers, sisters, around the planet. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on now.
from Reverend Ann Silberman Bunn, one of my interviewees. Quote, from ages 5 to 13, I had the same Sunday school teacher. Years later, after graduating from theological school, I was hired as the first religious education director that congregation ever had. The first Sunday when it was announced that I had been hired, my Sunday school teacher from childhood shouted from the back of the sanctuary, "She's one of mine!" She was still teaching Sunday school. Later that year, when I was ordained as a minister, she lit that congregation's chalice at the service. I felt like I had come full circle. May each of us find the threads which connect our hearts in the richness of this community and this faith. Blessed be. Amen.
And now please join me in the congregational closing as we extinguish our chalices. Let us go in peace, believe in peace, and create peace in our lives and in the world. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.